Hello and welcome to today's episode of The Insider, brought to you, as you jolly well know, by Vanishing Magic, the proprietor of the finest Scripting Magic Volumes 1 and 2 books, written by today's guest, Mr. Pete McCabe. Pete, how are you?
It's good. I'm good. Good to be here. Let me ask you a question, though, before we start.
Yes, please.
The Insider, honestly, I didn't even know that was the name of the podcast. What's that mean? Do I have to, provide inside stuff, or should I be focusing on that?
I'm the insider,
Right,
sharing the inside stuff I eke out of my guests
the behind
to
the scenes,
the great unwashed public.
There we go.
I'm
Speaking
opening
of that,
the
we're going
kimono.
to go to England. So I'm coming over to England. Are you going to finally have started washing up now? Is that the...
Yeah, we'll still have bad teeth and warm beer, but let me give you. Let's talk.
I don't drink beer, so drink anyway. Any beer you
were
want.
on the podcast.
I was on. How long ago was that? It was a couple of years ago.
4 years ago, 3 years ago.
4 years ago.
I think. So if anybody wants to hear your origin story, they can go back and listen to that, because no one cares anyway. But the important thing is, I asked you loads of questions about scripting magic, not the book, the activity.
Sure. Right.
And I've got deeper questions.
Sure. Also, you want to know, have I changed any of my answers? Are they all different now?
Well, no, I didn't want to ask you the same questions. So I was thinking about more detail.
Yeah.
But also, the important thing is that for the first time, you're coming to the session in January.
I'm super excited.
The thing is, you've never been, have you?
No, never been. I've been to England, as we mentioned, a couple of times. London, specifically.
Have you lectured or performed in England?
So I don't perform. I am not a professional performer.
You do tricks, McCabe.
I do tricks, but I am not a performer. I would do tricks for my students. And I was a teacher. I retired a year ago to become a full-time writer. But that's a stand-up performing job, no question. But I was not doing tricks. So mostly what I try to do is I try to have some respect for the actual real professional magicians. So I don't think they want to hear some amateur guy who's talking about whatever. Maybe I have some good ideas, but I don't want to be telling people, "Oh no, you're all wrong about that," because I'm not a pro. So I have some understanding of what it's like, and I certainly have talked with a lot of professional magicians, and I hear what they say, and so I can give you a lot of really good advice about how to be a professional magician. But it's not my advice; it's advice from other people. But then that's what scripting magic is too. It's not my advice on scripting magic. It's me and 20, 30, 50 other whatever people. Oh, man. I have to do Scripting Magic 3 just to at least have a single female voice on the book. Yeah. It's ridiculous.
That would be good.
I looked it up and I was like, oh, my God, how did I do that?
Yeah.
It's so easy to fall into that. But yeah, so
I was asking the question because you need to be aware of British magician audiences.
Indeed.
Audio listeners, I'm going to sit here and I'm crossing my arms and I'm looking unimpressed.
Oh, should I cross my arms too, or is that?
Yeah. And look unimpressed.
I don't want to pretend to be British. I don't want people to think I'm pretending to be British.
You can.
I may drop into a bit of a British accent. I definitely have a habit of, if I stay somewhere for a few days, I will start to fall into that accent. I can't even help myself.
I want you to
probably very annoying.
Start your lecture in a proper Dick Van Dyke. Cool, blimey, Mary Poppins.
my friend Jeff Gardner, who's a Broadway actor and a teacher, he taught vocal techniques at New York University. He walked into class the first day. Hello, everybody. My name's Jeff Gardner. You want me to be your teacher for today? I just want you guys to know I'm a real actor. I've been working Broadway 43 years. I had never been offered a Shakespearean role. Bunch of shit. So that's how he would start the first class. I'll think about that. The problem is I can't really do a British accent, but I can do any of the Monty Python people, an accent of them. And so it's going to be, it's going to be a British accent, but it's not just a generic British accent. I do a specific, I might do Michael Palin or John Cleese or somebody.
Yeah. That's fine. We can deal with that.
They're still popular in England, right?
They've never stopped being popular. I've got an 11-year-old and I've just started showing her. I showed her the argument sketch and the Ministry of Silly Walks and the fish slapping, and she was wetting herself laughing and was doing the Ministry of Funny Walks all around the house. So it still works.
it's a tribute that they have that range, that the fist slapping dance is the stupidest thing you've ever seen. It's hilarious, but it's the stupidest thing you've ever seen. And the argument clinic is brilliant.
Yeah.
It's not funny at all if you're not intelligent.
No.
I mean,
No.
or maybe it's a little funny. But, it's being
Yeah,
on
but the
listen,
levels.
But
Yes.
the way they were able to appeal to both sides of it was just fantastic.
Yeah, no, really
So,
smart. Really
I
smart.
I always played my students the argument clinic because I would teach them. Listen, we're going to have have to write an argument. Let's discuss what it is, and then let's mostly discuss what it isn't. When I took formal logic my freshman year at Yale, and the teacher put the definition of an argument was from the argument clinic. An argument is a connected series of statements to establish a definite proposition. It's real. But I'm speaking at 11. So 11 now, pretty good. How many, 1 or 2 more years for Holy Grail?
Yeah,
There's a couple of scenes.
Yeah, she's close.
I couldn't show it in my classroom because of a couple of little lines, but if you're in your house, you could get away with it.
I think it'll be fine.
So tell me about British people.
You do the flight. This is the first bit of advice I'm going to give you. You do the flight and the hotel. You get to Heathrow, and which is what not just people flying in, but the train is the closest at Heathrow as well. So this is advice for everybody. The convention hotel, is about a 5-minute journey from the airport, but you can't walk there because there's a bit of road that's non-pedestrian. There is a bus. There are 4 buses that will take you to the hotel for a cost of £1.75 or something. It's about 4 stops. It's real easy. But if you get in a taxi, they're going to charge you £30 to go 4 minutes. So if Vanishing Inc. are paying your cab fare, by all means do it. But if they're not, then I'll tell you there's a blog post I did last year about getting the bus there, and it's the best way to do it. So you get the bus there, right? And then you're going to check in, and people aren't going to be as polite or friendly as they are in America.
Oh, interesting. But hold on a second. Is it going to be a double-decker bus?
It might be. There are double-decker buses that do that route.
Wow. Can I stay there and wait? No, you go ahead. I'm waiting for one of the double-decker buses.
Yeah, do the double-decker bus. And you can just do tap and pay on your phone. You don't need to get a pass. You don't need to do anything. Just dip when you get on, and you're done. It's about 4 stops. They'll tell you if you ask the driver. Anyway, when you get to the hotel, the hotel staff will generally not be very smiley and happy to see you like they are in America because we don't tip.
Okay.
Right, so they don't care. They're not, have a fantastic stay. Yeah, you're not going to give me any money.
So, in England, I stayed in hotels every now and then. Actually, it's been a while since I've stayed in a hotel. We mostly stay at Airbnbs or the Vrbo option or something like that. But we don't tip people at a hotel.
You tip
I tip the server at a restaurant.
Your case.
Nobody carries my case. That's what we don't have in America. We don't have anybody to tip. There's nobody carrying my case up to the thing. That's why we don't tip. We're like, who are you? What are you even doing with my bag? Like, go.
Did you pack your bag yourself, problem, sir?
It may be just cultural misunderstanding. Actually, I have heard all sorts of things. There was this one I read, and it was British. There was American soldiers in England during World War II. And what would happen is they would go out on the night on the town and try to meet some woman, local British woman. And there was the American men all talked about how the British women were so loose they couldn't believe it. And the British women all talked about how the American men were so loose they couldn't believe it. And what really happened was kissing comes in a different stage in the relationship in those two places. In America, kissing was like first. We're going to kiss, and then if you want to do, we'll see if you want to do more. But in England, by the time you kiss somebody, you're like, all right, I'm ready. I'm not going to kiss you unless I'm ready to go much further. So the American men would come over and they would kiss the woman, and if she kissed them back, they were immediately in bed, and they thought, oh, how loose these women are. And the British women were all like, they're kissing me on the first 5 seconds, how loose all these American men are. So I won't be kissing any of your British men or women, so I don't think that'll be an issue.
I'm only going if you kiss me, Pete.
I'll kiss you.
Oh, okay,
I just didn't want anybody who was going to be like at the convention and is like hearing this on the podcast. And go, oh my God, I can't wait to kiss Pete. And you may not have that.
Yeah. No, it's good to manage people's expectations like that.
Exactly.
Yeah, you don't want to lead to disappointment.
So people at the hotel will not be polite to me, but what about at the convention?
Not compared to America. I find not compared to America. But you, I assume, are coming in on a Thursday, which you want to do, and then have a little 2-hour disco nap, and then go down to the bar because the sessioning starts the night before. There's going to be a bunch of magicians there on the Thursday night, and we'll all be hanging out and chatting and doing card tricks and doing general things. Then registration, and let's talk about your workshop, because VIP people that buy VIP tickets get your workshop included, and other people can buy it as an optional extra. Let's talk about what you're going to be doing in the workshop.
Well, so I'm doing 2 presentations, I'm pretty sure. One of them is for everybody, and one of them is just exclusive for only the most upper crust. That's the British expression, right? So the main presentation is going to be on scripts, the most famous scripts in all of magic, and that's interesting. In fact, I'll start right this. Well, if I had to ask you, what do you think is the most famous script in magic? What would you say? Because a lot of people, when I asked this, they didn't really know where to start, right?
I'm instantly starting with the Red Bull or Silverfish.
Oh, okay.
Which is both the scripts with no words.
Right, so those are, just for our audience, these are Penn and Teller's tricks. Silverfish is the...
Penn and Teller's Miser's Dream and the
Miser's Dream with the fish tank ball. And the red ball with the floating video. But there's a script
amazing
to the red ball. It's just delivered by Penn before the trick starts.
Yeah,
and without that, it's a very different trick, isn't it? So, but it doesn't have to be a whole line. In fact, one of the scripts that I'll be talking about in the thing is Shadows, which is a Teller script, and again has no words. My goal was to me, when I ask people what are the most famous scripts in magic, Shadows was mentioned by a couple people, and also Houdini's water torture cell, both for the same reason that they were created basically to provide copyright protection to the act. So instead of copyrighting it as a written work, it was copyrighted as a play. That's true of both. And the people who enforce copyrights on plays, there are a whole army of people who do that. So they will enforce that for you. So that was the idea. So Houdini did, as best I can, unless it's all a story, Houdini wrote this play called Challenged. And it's there's 2 acts. The first act is the challenge, and the second act is the water torture cell and performance. And then it was performed once at some theater in London, I think. There was 1 ticket sold. I would bet anything that person was an employee of this thing. And it was all just so that there was an official registered performance of the play. So I thought that's fascinating. And most people, that's the only magic script I think most magicians have heard of as a script.
Yeah.
Right? Nobody, if you talk about what's the most script, people are like, well, script, like I almost don't quite know where to start. So Challenged and then Shadows for the similar thing. So we're going to look at the actual scripts for that. In fact, I found this piece of audio. I'll have to find the name of the person so I can put it in the thing, of Houdini. That Houdini went into Edison's lab in Menlo Park, New Jersey, where they had the first ever voice recording device, and he spoke into it. And you can hear Houdini speak. And I'm going to tell you right now, you will not believe me, but I'm going to tell you how slowly he speaks. Houdini speaks at about this pace during the entire recording, which is not that long. I'm serious. It's that slow.
Wow.
It's that slow. Now, I have no idea if that's how he did it in a real show or if because he was recording for this special new unprecedented technology that he was trying to do it that way. But when you read the script of you're like, holy cow, could he say those lines at that pace? I mean, he has the entire script of his performance of the water torture cell, or a fanciful version of it, I guess. And it's fascinating, too, because there's a note in the stage directions. This would probably be better if he did it this way. Like, okay, probably not a real actual show. The whole thing was just for this legal purposes. But there's all sorts of interesting stuff you can find by looking at the actual script, I thought. So I wanted to look at the actual scripts. So Teller generously sent over a copy of the actual script so we can see how he wrote his lines, which don't have dialogue, but it's a script. Scripting Magic 2 has a script with no dialogue in it. Andy Newman's script for The Dancing Cane. And he doesn't speak, but there's a whole script. So it's, it's still a script. So then I went back through other scripts. I'm trying to find The Invisible Deck. That I think is the script that most magicians have maybe heard the most often, even if they don't think of it as a script. So I wanted to look at that one. And I am currently trying to track down the first appearance of that idea. Here, I'm going to hand it an Invisible Deck, the whole setup, because there's a million ways you can do it. But that basic concept appears to go to Eddie Fields.
That's what I've heard. It's Eddie Fields.
I think that's it, but I can't find where it first appeared in print. That's what I'm trying to track down. So if anybody listening hears that, send me a line.
If only there was a friendly magician at a nearby magic library that you could ask.
Oh, believe me, I've asked.
Come on, Goodwin, pull your finger out.
Yeah. And then, and there's a couple of others that I want to look at scripts. So that's what we're going to look at, some of the actual, but we're going to try as much as possible to look at the actual script. Right. How did the person either write it up, or at least how did they publish it? So that's the goal. So that's the main presentation. That's the one for
everyone.
Yeah, that's the one where you don't have to do anything. You can just sit and watch and hope that you find something to inspire you or whatever. But the workshop where we're going to actually get down and work is going to be a scripting magic workshop. So a couple of you did a mini scripting magic workshop with me.
Yes.
Do you remember, even at the castle when the book came out, the first book came out?
I do.
You came to the book open, and we did a little bit of exercises where people wrote stuff down and shared it with the group. So it's going to be that. When you come to this workshop, you're going to work. Everyone will write stuff down on their. I used to hand out paper and pen, but I think we're just going to do it on your phone now. But we're going to do exercises, and so we will do some of the same exercises. There are, if you go to the gym and you want to get your strong arms, you might do a bench press, and then if you go the next week, you wouldn't be like, "Oh, I don't need that anymore. I already did the bench press." You'd still be doing the bench press every week, right? So some of these activities. Like Derek Hughes, I interviewed him, and he was working on some improv thing, and he goes to improv classes weekly. And I mean, he's great at it. He's really, really great at it. But that's how you get great at it. If you wanted a workout to be strong and then you got strong, you don't stop working out. You get weak fairly directly. So you need to keep working on it. So I've completely forgotten where we started, but anyway,
we're talking about
workshop.
The VIP workshop.
Yeah, so there will be some of it that's the same. Josh J was actually at two different scripting workshops that I've done, and he sat through it, and he did this one activity, 3 words. I don't want to give it away too much of it. 3 words you want the audience to think of you when you're done. Somebody comes in, what was that person like? Well, they were this and this and this. What would you want those 3 words to be? What do you want your identity to be? And Josh did it the first time, and then a couple of years later, he was in the room, and he did it, and he came up with a slight change. And I mean, think about what that could mean, to have a slight change to your identity. Yeah. It can be incredibly powerful. So there will be some stuff that if you've been to, I've presented workshops now, I don't know, a dozen or a couple of dozen times now at various conventions or clubs. There may be some steps you've done already, but I want to try to add a few more, slightly more advanced activities. And plus, like recently, I've started, one of the things that's changed the way I interact with magic, 2 things. One of them is I've started writing books now. I wrote the History of Magi Fest, and I wrote the book of Terry LeGerald's tricks, which we're trying to get published as soon as possible. I'm working on the book of Jim Krenz's tricks, which are great. I'm working on the book of Jimmy Grippo's tricks, which are great. And I helped proofread a book of tricks by Albert Chu, some great stuff in it. So my head is full. Like, I almost can't get away from so many tricks, just swimming with these tricks. But I also am working with the juniors program at the Magic Castle. And if there's anybody who's young, magician 13 to 21, the program is, I think it's the best junior program in the world for magic. I don't see how there could be a better one. But every month we get together and meet. You can be a remote member and just Zoom in and attend the meetings. And there's a Zoom only meeting once a month also that I run. And it's a tremendous resource for young magicians. So for me, not only is it it's like the joy, it's the pure joy of magic in my life, but also, if you're in England and you can't necessarily come to Magic Castle, well, you could still be a part of this program.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I will definitely, I'd love to promote that too. But I have a new appreciation for, like, I give notes every week. I give notes to, at least every month, rather, I give notes to 3 different magicians they present something, act they're working on, and I give them notes. So I've done that a lot. So I've got a lot of notes that I've noticed come up a lot. And so I'm developing some new workshop activities based on the new notes that I'm getting. So then I'll tell you right now. In fact, I wrote this. I've now got a column in Genie magazine called The Script Consultant, and this one, it's either came out or it's coming out in the next month. I forget the schedule. But my most common note I have is, I want to see more of you in your show. And that, there's a million ways to do that, but that turns out to be, and then the kids who don't need that note, like, okay, that saves me half of an hour talking about notes. They're the ones who are 3 steps further along in the process.
Sure.
So that is, but so it's not necessarily the easiest thing in the world to do, but with a few exercises, I think it's not hard to just put a little more of yourself in the show. There was one kid who, his first line was, I come in here from Las Vegas and whatever, did the thing, and then he did the whole show. And that was the only thing I knew about that. Again, this is a 15-year-old kid who's just starting out. I'm not trying to criticize the kid. But the only thing I learned about him from the whole act was that he's from Las Vegas.
Right.
And I told him, at least you have to tell me is, what do you think about that? Is that fun? Or is it a drag? Or is it a fun when this happens, or it's a drag when that happens? Because everybody knows of Vegas. Nobody lives there, right? I mean, unless you're a professional magician, I know a few people who live there, but they're all professional magicians.
Yeah.
None of my just friends have ever lived in Vegas. So they're always like, gee, I wonder what it's like to live in Vegas, because everybody knows what Vegas is like, and 1 million people have been there, and none of them have ever lived there.
Yeah.
So like, there's a couple of little things. Like in Vegas, you cannot do Airbnb. The last time I went to Vegas, I'll look up an Airbnb. No, because the city of Las Vegas rules, they don't allow it. Because the hotels, run the deal. So fine. But like, I wouldn't have thought of that. Yeah. So who knows what it's like? So I tell this kid, tell me what it means to you that you live in Vegas. I like it or I don't like it. I'm 13. I don't care. There's casinos, but I don't care. I could walk into the street. People, if I ever want to get, a picture of a woman showing a lot of skin, I can just walk down the strip and people will hand them to me. So, I mean, there's a million things you could do, right?
Of course.
And then, but then instead of you, so what I ended up suggesting, and I haven't seen if they've integrated it, was I wanted to imagine that you had your own casino, or you were going to have your audience member imagine they had their own casino. And what would be, Joe's Casino, or what would you call your casino? So what would you, if you had a casino, what would you name it?
The Lucky Goat.
The Lucky Goat. Terrific. By the way, is that the name of a pub on your town? The Lucky Goat, the Crown, and I get all the pub names in England. It sounded like a pub name to me. But so that, and then how, now that's a trick. And then the finale was going to be like I think it was a confabulation ending where it was at that casino was the name of the casino. And so now you don't have to tell me all about yourself. You do a trick because I live in Vegas. I'd imagined what my own casino would be like, and now I'm going to have a trick with that. And the trick's all about the casino. And you're going to find out what I think about casinos automatically by that. So that's an easy. There's a lot of easy ways to put more of yourself in your trick. So that is what I'm hoping to provide, a slightly more advanced scripting workshop than the usual convention fare, as befits the slightly greater sophistication we have of anything that happens in England related to America.
Now, you say, I just want to be really clear for people listening to this, because there might be people that haven't read the books, right?
Oh, sure.
And I mean, shame on them.
But, well, no shame, no. But what a great opportunity! I call it
shame on them.
It's a great opportunity for me to make 2 more sales.
You've said it's advanced and exclusive, but tell the listeners that
Oh,
what
like
type of magician would benefit from this? Is it, I'm giving you the setup.
yes.
Is it people
Sure,
that just perform
sure.
on stage, Pete McCabe?
Any magician that wants to get better, that's first thing you have to do is understand what every trick looks like from the audience's perspective. And some performers automatically, they just have been doing it for so long, they automatically do that. A lot of performers, a lot of amateur magicians who I don't want to criticize, but it's real easy to not get that feedback. You could be in magic for a lot of years and do tricks and never really get the feedback on what do you think it's like from the audience's perspective. And you see a lot of magicians go, huh. And they haven't really considered that necessarily. That's the benefit of scripting. I've asked a million magicians. Every magician I ever ask says basically, yes, I script. Two people don't. What's the benefit you get out of it? And the benefit that you get out of it is that you can think about everything from the audience's perspective. That's what is the most helpful. Because a lot of magic, I see, especially working on all these different tricks of magicians. Phil Goodman, who is one of the guys who works at the juniors program, he's our tech guru. He performed in the close-up room. And he did all old school card magic. He's my age. And he presented everything. There was no flash. It wasn't a big song and dance show. He presented everything clearly. It was clear. And devastated. People were just agog at this thing. And partly I think that's because he's fairly unassuming looking guy. He didn't come out with like, hey, I'm going to wow you. He was like, hey, I'm going to show you this thing. You want to see it? And they were like, yeah. And then he showed it to you and they were like, holy cow, that's incredible. So that helped him. But he understands what the audience is doing. So many magic tricks. I think this may be the second most common note that I'm going to have for people after I want to see more of you in the trick. It's too confusing for audiences to follow. We are so conditioned we're not even interested in simple tricks. I've seen that before. I want to see something complicated that I've not seen. Well, that's fantastic. But the audience is not. They've not seen that a million times before. They've never seen it once. They can barely follow along what's happening in the trick. And you're racing along because it's just a simple ace assembly, but with a variation of this. And people are like, they don't even know where to start.
Yeah.
So his tricks were so straightforward because he knows the audience. What's the audience thinking? Are they going to be confused by any of this? There was no moment of confusion at any point in his show. And then once you get that, you can start getting to, is there a moment? So I have a cut and restored rope. And I took this idea from El Duco. Actually, it was in an old linking ring parade. Here's a word out for old linking ring parades. So you do the standard cut and restored rope method where you have a little piece tied around the middle. And then the traditional ending is to slide it off and then throw it away. Fantastic. Great. Here's the El Duco idea. You slide it all the way down to near the end, and then you untie it, leaving a long piece and a short piece. But this is brilliant. Permanent evidence of the miracle. This is exactly how I present it. If I restore this rope now, then it's a miracle, but maybe I didn't really cut it or you didn't cut it. But if I can make a permanent change and I move it so that I'm moving it, then started this working on my students in my classroom. I would grab it and I would pull it out like I was going to try to get it to move, but it didn't move. And I look at it, it didn't move. So I grab it and I pull it again, and it would move a quarter of an inch.
Okay.
And it almost just looks like I'm just pulling it through my hand, right? So I hold it up and look, and I try to pull again, and it didn't work. And I would look at the audience. Did it move? And I'm like, it's not moving, is it? And everyone was like, no. And so then I would pull, and I would get it to move an eighth of an inch, and a half an inch, and another, until it was far enough away that it must have moved. And you could see people in the audience realizing, wait a minute, it's moving. And that was the moment. That was everything in this entire trick is for that one moment when people go, wait a minute, it is moving. And I wanted people to say, no, it's not moving. It's not moving. It's not moving. Wait, is it moving? Oh my God, it's moving. That was the experience I'm trying to create.
Sure.
And that is you only get that. I mean, it took me, how many years did I do that exact same cut and restored rope routine before I finally got this version? And when the thing finally moves, people, and you can feel it when you do it right. You feel this wave of realization come over the audience. People in the front see it sooner. And then you can sort of hear the gasps making their way to the back. And so that, I mean, it's the trick is I don't like to brag about myself, especially not being a pro, but my version of that is 100 times better than it used to be.
Sure.
From considering the audience and what are they thinking and what do I want thinking. And it starts with most magicians canceling. I want to cancel all the possible methods. But the next step after that, I think, is what can I create? What experience can I give them that will make them? And so that's the goal. I think that's so. Anyway, anybody that wants to do that should come to this workshop. You do not have to have attended a scripting workshop ever. That's for sure.
You don't need to work with a script already, do
You
you?
do already work with a script. Every magician works with a script. You don't necessarily write it down in advance.
Yes.
It doesn't have to be formal. I have many tricks where the script is not formal at all. It's a presentation based on we're going to do this. I have one where we kill all the playing cards but one. And I'm going to have the audience members, this is in Scripting Magic 2, have the audience members act out the deaths of the playing cards. And so I say, what should we kill first? We start with what do we do first? The men and the women. We first the spot cards in the playing, or the picture cards. What do we want to kill? Just kill the spot cards. Great. Everybody act out the death of the spot cards. Go. And people, they're tearing him. Or you might pick someone to represent that person, and then they'll act out the death and move on. I didn't script for that. The script is, we're gonna, kill all the playing cards. I don't follow it word for word.
Yeah.
It's just a structure. So it's an informal script, but you have to pick it in advance. That's all your script is. You decide in advance what you're going to say while you're doing the trick. And even if you improvise it, you're improvising your script.
Yes.
So
okay.
you have a script.
I think there are a bunch of people that think that a magic script is magician enters stage left, sets down a deck of cards, and then it's the words that you say written down. And so what I was trying to get
so
across,
you don't have to do that.
your pedantry at my use of language is noted and will be reprimanded in January, was that if somebody's doesn't think they use a script, obviously we all use a script in one way or another, but if someone thinks they don't use a script and haven't got something written down, if they come to your workshop, they will be welcomed and find it useful. They don't need a script to be red pen edited, right?
They do not, absolutely. I will say that, because I work with the juniors, and they'll send me a video of their script, and I'll say, that looks great. Do you have a copy of your script? They'll send me a video of the act. Do you have a copy of the script so I can make some notes on it? Well, not yet. And I'm like, okay, but you have your video on YouTube, and it will give you a transcript with one click. So let's get at least that much done. Because, and as David Riegel wrote about this long before I started writing Scripting Magic, the point of having a script is that it allows you to get better every time.
Yeah.
If you don't have that, how do you get better, a little better each time? But with a script, you can say, I think I can tweak this one little moment, or I can change the order of these two things and it'll be better. But if you don't have that, it's so much harder to do.
Sure.
So, but I don't, one of the things I'm hoping, and I don't know how to do this exactly, is to encourage somebody to bring an actual script. Like, I think that would be maybe the very end. So the VIP workshop, I think, is hour 15 scheduled for. Maybe maybe everybody does workshop for an hour, and then for 15 minutes, 3 people talk about a script and what they have, and I give them some sort of feedback just so that they can see how that process goes and how you can do it and how free you can be. There was you've read the Darren Brown book, Notes from a Fellow Traveler?
Yes.
So he talks about the time he was writing a poem in some writing class, and he was with this poem, and one of his friends came up to him and the feedback was, you can write about anything you want. Like, that that hadn't occurred to him. It's a poem. It has to be a poem. No, you can write anything you want. I thought this is my favorite magic book ever, by the way. I will just show this to you. So normally when I take a magic book, if there's a thing I really like in it, I'll either dog ear a page or I'll
Uh-huh.
stick a little post-it note in it. This is the only magic book I've ever read where I had to get a highlighter so that I could highlight. There were just too many things to put post-it notes in. It's the best. It's the best book I've ever read on what it's like to be a successful magician.
Yeah.
Because it may sound like all fun and games, and it is. There may be fun and games involved, but it is not all fun and games at all. I mean, honestly, I've never really had that dream to be a professional magician, but that if I did, that book cured me of it.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I am in the right place in magic where I am right now.
So, after you've done your
All right.
workshop and your lecture,
Yeah.
then what happens? And it's quite like Magi Fest in as far as they don't schedule things to happen at the same time. So there's
Right.
no overlapping events, and they put in breaks so you can go to your room and take some notes, or have a disco nap, or just go for a drink with a friend, or have some lunch, or whatever.
Can I ask? Sorry to
Yeah,
interrupt.
no,
That's twice you've mentioned disco nap. What
disco
is that?
nap. Oh, a disco nap is a tactical nap that you have middle of the
Tactical.
afternoon, early, yeah, tactical nap, middle of the afternoon, early evening, knowing that you're probably going to be up till 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning doing card tricks. So
Terrific.
around about 3 or 4, if you just go and have an hour, then
Yeah.
this
Sounds
is
good. I would just,
at 53. That's what I find useful.
I was talking about this with somebody. I wish I could nap, and I mean,
Oh,
I'm retired. It's really,
it's all
I'm as,
there
I'll
for
never.
you. You've got a
It's all
napping
there for me,
future.
exactly. But if I go and lie on my bed in an hour, I'll get up having lain in bed for an hour. Not the end of the
Yeah.
world, but I haven't. I'll try to work on it. Disco. Oh, also, you
Being
said it's a tactical nap. I'm fascinated. I keep getting ads in my Facebook feed for tactical flashlights.
ah, no, tactical, as in you deliberately do it. It's a tactic
Yeah.
to have a nap before you
Yeah.
go there. I
Tactical
think
means, but it's
tactical
like supposed to be some
flashlights
sort
is
of
like
army.
army shit. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's what it is. I want a strategic flashlight. That's what I'm waiting for. But I'll try. Maybe a disco nap or something. We'll
Oh,
see. I don't know
this
what
is
the
if because Britain
jet
has
lag. I'll
quite
be
an
completely jet lagged. It's
because
just gonna be
Britain
horrible.
has quite an excessive drinking culture.
Oh
The
yeah,
good use of tactical is. Are you aware of the word chunder? No.
chunder. Hmm.
Yeah.
No, not really.
This
Sounds
is
vaguely familiar,
vomiting.
but not.
Vomiting.
Oh, okay. Oh, sure, sure, sure. Wait,
Oh
it's a
God,
song.
chundered.
When I chunder, there's a song about that. I
So a
think.
tactical chunder is when you go on a
Mm,
night drinking and I don't know, at 11 o'clock you're feeling a bit like it's going too far. So you go to
yeah.
the lavatory, make yourself have a tactical chunder so you can then empty your stomach and come back and carry on
Come back.
drinking. Apparently, this is
Yes.
what young people do nowadays.
I guess it'll be interesting to me because I never drank a lot, but I used to have a drink. I might have it one drink a day. And then I had a weird thing where I was not feeling well and I stood up too fast and my blood pressure crashed and I basically fainted. Well, partly because I had drunk more than usual fast. And so I almost don't do it anymore. Am I going to be able to fit in, do you think,
Oh no
anymore?
no no no! It's not. No, I just meant I was just giving you the word tactical chunder. I'm not
Yeah, no,
saying
I
the
understand that.
session
I'm
is full of
separate note.
alcoholics.
Maybe
It's
I need
not.
to
There are
figure out
plenty of
some
people
way to
that
get.
don't drink. Plenty of people that don't
All
drink
right,
there.
good. I'll be
But
with
it
them.
just all the action happens in the bar.
Yeah, yeah,
It's
yeah. I'll be in
just
the bar. I have
where
no
it
problem going
is.
into a bar. Yeah, yeah,
You
yeah.
know.
No sweat.
And it's a
A
new hotel.
tactical
It's
disco nap. Well, how
tactical.
did disco become the replacement word for tactical? Does
No,
disco mean that in any other
it's a nap
context?
before you go to a nightclub.
Oh,
So
I
it's a
see.
nap before you'd go to a discotheque.
Right. And do you still people have discotheques in England? Because we don't. We kind of got rid of them here,
There
or we
are
stopped calling them that. I
No,
guess.
they're not called that. They're clubs
Okay,
now, I
good.
believe.
Club. Yeah.
I believe.
I went to a club when I lived in New York. That was 35 years ago. That was my last time I went to a club.
Was that the
Area club.
what was
Area
the
club's
what was the
fantastic.
cool one in New York with the numbers?
Oh, Studio
Studio
54,
57, 54,
Studio 50 something.
50
I went
something.
to Studio 50 once when they made a movie of the Beatles. album. What the heck movie was it? Was it Sergeant? Did they make a movie of Sergeant Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band?
Mm.
And I went to the premiere, and
Oh.
then the party afterward was at Studio 54, I think. That's the only time I've been there.
Oh, cool.
And we went to Limelight. Limelight was an old abandoned church that they turned into a disco, which was beautiful because I'd like to walk around the church and it was cool and light show in the church. I'm not really a clubbing guy.
They had a similar thing in London for goths, and it was called Slimelight. See what they've done there. It's frightfully clever.
Yeah.
So, yes, you then, just like Magi Fest, have to run and shove some food in your face as quickly as you can and get back for the next thing.
Yeah.
But the thing that is, it's small, right? It's 400 people maximum. And everybody is friendly. That's the thing that because I've been going to the session for 18 years, long before I started working for Vanishing Inc.
Wow.
I used to go there as a customer, as a punter, before it moved to London, and I always loved it because it was small and they would bring over people that you didn't know. So I saw Daddy Doughties for the first time there.
Oh yeah.
20 years ago, whatever it was, and nobody had heard of him. And the whole room came out feeling like lay people. It's like, what just happened?
What is he doing? And we're doing magic, and what the hell is he doing?
Yeah. It was
I felt that same way when I was 14. I went to the SAM convention in Boston, and I saw Del Rey. And I saw a million guys, and then Del Rey. And I remember thinking when I saw Del Rey, what is this even? Because everybody else was doing magic tricks, and then Del Rey was like, I couldn't even fathom what was even happening. It seemed like he was performing a completely different art form.
Yes.
And so it's kind of
wonderful
that same
feeling.
sense with Danny, where he comes in and he's like, I thought I had some idea.
But no. So they do that as well as people that listeners that will be familiar with. But the loveliest thing is the hang, just very similar to Magi Fest, that it's so friendly and people can go up to famous magicians, or if there's a table that something interesting is going on at, just say, do you mind if I join? And of course you can. And if somebody's kind of on their own, like a wallflower, people will try and bring them in. And it's because it's so small, you're ending up seeing the same people all weekend anyway, because it's only 400 people. So everybody just kind of gets on, and it's a very different vibe because it's so much smaller. And I think that's what makes it special for me. And everybody there wants to get better. Everybody's willing to share stuff, but everybody wants to get better. But when you're lecturing, they will sit there with their arms crossed and pretend that they're not interested. I promise you. It's just what we do. Go on, impress me, Yank.
Sure, but I might have to get for the workshop. You'll have your phone out.
Yeah.
Write something, and then you can cross your arms.
Yeah. No, for the lecture,
there should be a magic trick that involves crossing your arms, right? I don't know what it is.
There's a
but whenever you cross your arms, and when you come back up, I'm holding 2 oranges. Put them down on the table. Cross my arms again. Blah, 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 blah. 2 oranges, and lemons, or whatever. I don't know. Rubik's Cube,
British trick. You could do it whilst drinking warm beer and having bad teeth.
Or a 2-person act. If you had a 2-person act, and one person was doing that, the other person just standing like this, and then they do the production, and there we go.
Frisch doing it.
Yes.
In a confused way.
Yeah, exactly. What the hell is happening to me?
We're out of time, Pete McCabe.
Really? Did we get through all of the big questions?
I had one.
I have more time if you need more. We can cut some of the other crap that came earlier.
No. The other crap was really there, and it's important. But and it's interesting because we'll be able to see it with the Shadows script. But how do you score a script for breath and eye contact and blocking cues on the page? Is there a standardized notation?
That's fantastic. So when I was writing Scripting Magic, David Ben was going to submit a blocking diagram he had a version of the Miser's Dream that he would use to cover a set change. Yeah. So he steps out in front of the audience and produces coins until a little red light goes on in the back of the audience, and then all the coins produces vanished. But what struck me was that he presented the Miser's Dream. He presented the actual Miser's Dream. There's a miser, They are dreaming. They see coins in the air. They get a handkerchief and they put them back. And then suddenly they wake up and all the coins are gone because it was just a dream. That's the miser's dream. I've never seen that. I mean, I've heard the miser's dream since I was 9, but I've never seen anybody present it as the dream of a miser. And it was tremendously effective. Anyway, he had a blocking diagram for that, and I was going to include that. And the book ended up using something different. But I think the script, there's two kinds of scripts. There is the script that is the production script for the crew. And it would have lighting cues, and if there's anything else, I mean, if you have a crew, obviously, but if you've frozen. Are you still hearing me?
I'm still here.
Yeah, no problem. That's the technical script. It might have camera angles or lighting, or where does this prop need to be, or whatever. The script I'm talking about, and the way I propose to write a script, is the audience's experience. So there's no method in that script. You might want to have notes for your own self later, but my goal is the focus on the audience's experience, nothing else. So I would leave all of those technical details out. Then maybe you'd print it out and start marking it up with something like that to indicate if you have technical notes, or if you are, I mean, at some point, if you're putting a show in an actual theater and you're going to work with anybody other than yourself, not just a director, but a stage manager, lighting people. You want to be able to point here, this. You're going without a script. At some point, I'm going to raise my arm like this, and that's when I need there to be a complete blackout. Okay, thanks.
Yeah.
You're not going to. You want to go in and make it easy as possible for everybody. And so that's when you get to the level where you have anybody else to work with. There's a whole nother separate script that you need.
Sure.
So maybe, but yeah, to me though, I focus on, and again, partly because I'm an amateur. All my performances are I don't have lights. If I wanted to change in my classroom, I could turn the lights down a little bit if I really wanted to, but mostly it was just, I'm working in daylight. It's all Dogma style performances for me. Is that still a thing? Do people still talk about that?
The movie?
Dogma? No, not, there's an entire, genre of movies called Dogma.
I've seen the Kevin, what's his face?
Oh no, that's a great
Dogma.
game, but no. Kevin Smith, yeah. Dogma is a style of movie making. I know very little about it, but you're not allowed to use any artificial lights, only natural sound, and then I forget if there are any other restrictions like that.
But I've never heard of this.
Oh, okay, yeah, it came. I don't know if it was ever hugely popular. Lars von Trier seems to me made a movie. That name sticks in my head. Made a movie in a Dogma
investigate
style.
Because that sounds interesting. So no Foley, no sound afterwards
nothing.
at all.
Exactly. Got to get it on the thing. In fact, and then von Trier made a movie that was basically the most artificial possible movie you could make under those conditions. So he seemed to already be struggling against the idea. But yeah, no, that's what my performances are all like. I don't have. We could cut that little 10-minute digression on Dogma filmmaking. But I work under natural light. It's just me. So I don't have any need for a technical production crew.
Sure.
So yeah, performers do that. That's the goal, I think, for a lot of people to get to that stage. And when you get to that stage, boy, I think you're gonna. If you walk in and say, "I don't have a copy of my script," they're like, "Uh huh." But we were talking to somebody, a person who lectured with the Castle Juniors, and he said, he talked to some country club. My show is 40 minutes, and they're like, "Oh, we like to book the shows for 35 minutes because occasionally they run long." And he goes, "No. My show will end at exactly 40 minutes because this is what I do." And he said, "I've worked in. People might want to talk to me after. I've built that in. It's all built in. I promise you my show will end at exactly 40 minutes." That was great. He gets, I'm sure, a lot of bookings just from that.
Yeah.
And then you always hear about somebody talking to somebody who's like, "How long is your act?" "Well, I do 15 minutes, but if it's going really well, I might throw in the chop cup and it'll go." Okay. And I mean, that's, if you're an amateur, yeah. Although, again, if you're an amateur, probably the tendency is to keep doing until everyone's tired. But you want to, you want to stop before that, probably.
Yeah. Talking
Who
of
knows?
stopping before that, let's stop.
Let's stop.
Pete McCabe.
Do we get all the great questions?
Yes, all of the great ones. And we told everybody about your workshop and the fact that
Yeah.
you're going to be doing a lecture and you're going to be
And
at
we
the
mentioned
session.
bring something. If you bring a script, if you're at the session and you bring a script written on paper and hand it to me, I will make some comment on it and give it back and give you some feedback on it.
That seems like an incredible deal. Pete McCabe.
I hope that if all 400 people come up to me, that may be a challenge, but I think I can do it.
Yeah, but you'll be
I
jet
think I'm
lagged, so
willing.
you won't be able to sleep anyway, man. What else are you going to do?
The worst I'll say is I might not be able to give it back to you during the actual convention. But I promise if you hand me a piece of paper with something on it, I will send you back notes on that script.
Now, I should have, and I only thought of this halfway through the recording, but I didn't, so it doesn't matter. But we always end the show with 4 quick-fire questions, and I should have found out what your answers were last time, because it's always the same questions, and challenged you to see whether they'd changed or not. But we'll have to do that afterwards.
We'll do it anyway, and we'll find out later. Maybe I'll remember.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll remember.
Favourite pizza topping?
I'll give you 2 different answers for each one, and you can cut in whichever one you want.
Favourite pizza topping?
Oh, I have lately pepperoni and mushrooms is my current going top.
Pepperoni and mushrooms, or pepperoni or mushrooms?
No, and pepperoni and mushrooms.
Favourite movie?
Well, gosh, we were just talking about... I'll give you my favorite 5 greatest movies of all time.
Okay.
They are Memento, Brazil, Sanjuro by Kurosawa. Got to throw in one foreign language film. It's a samurai movie. Oh, the best samurai movie ever. We'll go with that. That's 3. I give you 3.
Favorite person or people that make music?
Elvis Costello is the greatest songwriter of my generation.
And
my current new favorite band is I don't know how, but they found me.
That's a band. I don't know how, but they found me.
I don't know how, but they found me. It's a line. They got their name. It's a line from Back to the Future. Remember when Doc Brown is in the thing and the terrorists come in? I don't know how, but they found me. Anyway, the guy used to be the bass player for Panic at the Disco, and now him and one other guy make a band. They're my favorite new band, so I have old band and a new band.
Yeah, that's good. Thank you. I didn't ask that question.
That would not have been the question. My answer for the first one is I hadn't heard of them 4 years ago.
Yeah, well, okay. I've got a feeling it was Costello, though. And finally, who would you rather fight? 1 massive Andy or 100 tiny Joshuas?
So, one of the things, if you had to, in general, let me talk about this issue, that if there's 100 tiny Joshuas, then I get to not only beat up Joshua, but I get to do it again. And again and again and again and again and again. So you have that going. But are you asking me which I think would be which I would be more likely to prevail in the
which
fight?
You'd prefer to do.
Or just which will I find a more fun experience? And Andy Gladwin is the normal size Andy Gladwin?
Andy Gladwin is giant.
How
Andy
giant?
Gladwin.
I gotta know how giant.
15 foot.
15 foot, so 2.5 times as
100 tiny Joshuas, and the tiny Joshuas are 6 inches.
6 inches. I would fight 100 tiny Joshuas just because it sounds funnier to see a tiny Joshua than a 15-foot Andy. But also, while I'm fighting, I'm not going to be all 100 at once. One of the main techniques, if you're from martial arts, if you're fighting against multiple people, one of the things you want to do is you don't want to stand in a triangle.
Right.
You want to be standing in a straight line where you're at one end. So you're only dealing straight. So I'm going to, if there's 100 Joshuas swimming, but at some point, while I'm pounding on maybe 20 of the Joshuas, 3 of the other Joshuas are going to be doing little tiny card tricks.
Yeah. Or bench pressing, maybe.
Or bench pressing. Okay.
Or if there's a mirror, you could probably...
Ooh. Like I could get maybe
them.
Half of them to distract them and then I'll come back and get them later. Yeah. Right. Okay. So that's good. That's worth doing.
Well, I'm glad we sorted that out. Pete McCabe, thank you for your time.
I'd rather step on someone else than be stepped on. That's, I think, what it comes down to.
That's the problem with America.
Yeah.
I very much look forward to seeing you again in January.
Yeah, I can't wait.
Pete,
It will
thank
be
you
the
very
first
much
time
for your
we've been in
time.
the same room
For a long
since that
time.
day in the castle many,
Yeah, I
many,
think
many,
you're right.
many, many years
Many,
ago.
many years ago. Well, I look forward to kissing you then.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, kiss coming. Can't wait.